officials warn of a very high wildfire threat across Los Angeles as fire crews make progress containing some smaller blazes.
The Metro today, they're leading on the Los Angeles wildfires, reporting what they describe as a growing fury at greedy landlords cashing in on tragedy, entitled celebrities and selfish elites. They say locals have lashed out at billionaires who have hired their own private firefighters to defend their homes.
At 6, we're live here in Los Angeles, which is still at risk, says the city's fire chief, with more strong winds expected this week. Fires continue to burn out of control. At least 24 people are now known to have died, with the flames destroying everything in their path. Good evening to you from Altadena, a suburb of Los Angeles. We're about 14 miles from the downtown area, and we arrived here yesterday afternoon, and this is what was left behind after those fires blew through here a few days ago. The intensity of the heat destroying absolutely everything. You can see cars, vehicles charred there. We've seen washing machines that have just been blown out into the middle of the area. The trees behind blackened, charred, the famous palm trees that are so synonymous with Los Angeles as well, they are blackened as well. And all around there's that really intense, acrid smell of burning. It's truly, truly appalling. Now, the fire chief has said that the city is still at risk as they continue to battle wildfires in the area, and the forecasters also warn that the strong winds that fueled the flames last week are expected to pick up again this week as well, tomorrow and into Wednesday, and people are being told to follow evacuation orders to the letter. Now, there are still 4 fires burning. The closest to us here is the Eaton fire, which still isn't fully contained. And Emma Vardy has spent the day in Pacific Palisades to the south of us here, where another fire is still raging.
The debris still smoulders. Thousands of acres of damage still untouched by recovery teams. Today, roadblocks and patrols by the National Guard have visibly increased. There have now been more than 60 arrests in evacuated areas, mainly for looting and burglary.
The criminals have decided that this is an opportunity, and I'm here to tell you that this is not an opportunity. You will be arrested, you will be prosecuted, and you will be punished to the full extent of the law.
Some have lost more than possessions. One of the victims of the Palisades fire was 32-year-old Rory Sykes, a child actor from the 90s British TV show Kiddie Capers. He lived with cerebral palsy, and his mother says she escaped but could not save him.
The biggest fear I had was that he might burn and hurt, because I think burning must be the most painful death. And the fire department chiefs said, no, he will have died of carbon monoxide poisoning first. I just can't believe my baby's not going to be here.
The clean-up task is so vast it will stretch on for months. There have been promises by officials that the rebuilding process will be made as quick as possible by cutting red tape to help people put their lives back together. But there's frustration that in many places it's still too dangerous to start. And the job of rehousing people will take time.
It will take months, if not years. I know that in Hawaii it took at least temporary housing to occur for a year. So we don't know what the situation will be here.
All around, signs of the trauma the city has suffered as the fires overwhelmed communities. As people try to escape from the oncoming flames in this part of Pacific Palisades, many just abandoned their cars, and you can imagine the sense of panic. Many just appearing to have crashed into each other as they tried to flee. And you can see why they ran, because here's what's left after the fire reached this spot not long after. 23 people are still missing, and many addresses are still to be searched for human remains.
Yeah, Emma, these officials have enough on their hands fighting the fires. How big a challenge is dealing with crime now?
Well, look, evacuated areas like this are so large and there are so many routes in to these once wealthy areas. Preventing crime is really difficult, but they have these overnight curfews in place, and the National Guard here, well, if you come into an area like this, they'll stop you and make sure every single person has a really good reason for being there. Today we heard that the first charges for looting have been brought with some really serious sentences attached, and officials say there will be more of those. But alongside this too, we're also hearing that price gouging is still a problem. We're hearing that people have been putting up the prices of things like medical supplies as well as hotel rates while this crisis goes on, and officials say there'll also be arrests and charges for price gouging too. But I think it's clear that this city is having to learn lessons really quickly, day by day, about how to handle a disaster on this scale, and there are always new challenges.
Indeed. All right. Emma, thank you for that. Emma Vardy there reporting from the Pacific Palisades area. I mean, this is a pivotal week in the battle against these wildfires, with the winds expected to pick up Tuesday morning into Wednesday. And why is that important? Well, if the winds are anything from 50 to 60 miles an hour, then planes that drop in water or fire retardant, they can fly. Anything above that, 70 to 80 miles an hour, then those winds can fan the flames and make this whole thing even worse than it already is. So that's why this week is so important in the battle to contain the fires here.